Hi all and welcome to my channel. We're going to start this look using the Balsam shade from the BH Cosmetics Naughty palette. I'm going to be doing another 4 looks using this palette. Holy cow, I cannot believe how many looks I am doing. I'm proud of myself. I don't normally use a palette this much and not this many times in a row or very close to each other. Anyways, I threw that green shadow all over my eyelid just like that. I will tell you, I absolutely love this palette. I think they blend so well. They layer so well. Yeah, the shimmers are great. I really love this palette. Anyways, I'm going to go into Misbehave and I'm going to throw it on top of that green shade for some, layering, I guess. Whatever. I felt like I needed to. I had my biggest complaint with this palette is just the kohl shade does have a little bit of fallout, but really not too bad. I took mold and I threw that in between those two shades because I wanted more dimension and it got out of control super quick. I didn't like where it went, so I took that skin colored shadow called marriage, or I don't know what it was. Okay, I just took it and I threw it on top of that, and then I wanted to deepen up the outer corner, so I took that kohl shade and I just used it to deepen up the outer corner a little bit. And I really do, like I said, don't you see how well these just like layer on top of each other? And that is so important for me, and I don't feel like all shadows layer like this effortlessly. And I also winged out the outer corner. Then I took Rudolph and I threw it on my bottom lash line. I really enjoyed getting to know this palette more and more, to be honest. It's a nice feeling to know how each shadow performs and how the whole palette performs. I took Brick and I threw that on the outer corner of my waterline because I wanted to deepen it up, and then it didn't go deep enough, so I took that kohl and I used that on my outer corner as well because I just felt like I needed to deepen it up more. Then I took that mistletoe and I put that on top of my eyelid on the center to outer portion of it, and then I took that Very Merry and I threw it on the inner corner of my eyelid. Well, not my inner corner, but my front half. And I decided I didn't like that enough, so I took Spicy and I threw that on top of it. And then I took Jingle Bells and I layered that on top of it. These pressed glitters are amazing. They are not chunky. They are almost like a very, very foiled eyeshadow. I don't feel like they're on a pressed glitter level. I took Spice Cider and I threw that on top of the red on my bottom lash line. And then I took Snow Day and I put that on my inner corner. I honestly wasn't sure how I felt about this look. I thought I got out of control and I had to do some damage control, but I got a lot of compliments at work on this look. I don't know. I was kind of trying to go for a green and red look, for Christmas. Okay, the next look I'm going into that kohl shade and I'm throwing it on my outer corner and winging it out. I think this kohl shade is a very interesting color. It looks gray, but on the outer edges of it where it starts to thin out, it kind of goes red. And I don't know if it comes off on camera like it does in real life, but I really do feel like if I was to shear that out and really blend it out, it would have a very nice red layer where it was thinner. I don't know if you can see that, but maybe I'm crazy. I tend to think things that are not correct sometimes, or just different from what other people are seeing, but I think that it lays a little red on the thin areas. I took that Rudolph shade and I threw it on the inner corner of my eyelid, or the front portion of my eyelid. Again, I said that wrong. And I just threw it on and layered it on. you know, just as you see, I'm kind of blending that coal and that red shade together, and I'm not, being scared. I am putting that red on top of that coal shade. Um, and yeah, I decided to add it a little bit more. I went a little bit higher and I went over the coal shade a little bit more. Then I took that mold shade and I threw it on top of the red, or I mean the misbehave. I took that shade and threw it on top of the red, and I also dragged it across the wing too. And I throw on the Rudolph shade to, add more pigment to it because I had lost a little bit of it when I added the misbehave. And this is where I decided to add the misbehave across the wing. I'm not sure this was necessary, but I felt like that wing was just looking a little lonely over there. So that's what I decided to do. And then I took Rudolph and I threw out my bottom lash line, just because I felt like it. I think that this Misbehave, Cole, and Rudolph are my most used shadows besides the pressed glitters. I took Cole and I added it on my bottom lash line too because I wanted the wing to connect to my bottom lash line, and I felt like it needed to be done. I wanted to deepen it up some, you know what I'm saying? You get it? You get it? I don't know. Alright, sorry. I'm in a weird mood. I took Rudolph a little bit underneath where we laid that coal. Then I took the January Garnet palette by BH and I used that black glitter, the pressed glitter. Now this pressed glitter is far more chunky and very more glitter-like than the pressed glitter in the palette. I took that spiked cider and I placed it on my eyelid and decided it wasn't enough, so I took that red pressed glitter out of the July BH Cosmetics palette and I threw it, on my inner portion of my eyelid for a very, very sparkly, glittery look. And yeah, this is the finished look. What do you think? I was going for a red and black. It kind of matched my dress a little bit. And yeah, kind of my aesthetic. It is a little bit glittery, but also I'm not responsible for your eyelids. So next look, I took that orange shade called Paint On. Hell if I know. You guys know me. I suck at pronunciation. I suck at words. I just suck at everything in general. Anyways, I'm just throwing that shadow all over my eyelid. It's a very pretty orange. And now for this look, I'm kind of going for a sunsetty kind of vibe. I wanted to see, if I could with the colors provided. I think that it turned out semi, sunsetty a little bit. There's not enough pink, but So I took that Misbehave shade again and I threw it on top of that orange shade for that, that dimension. And that layering and gradient. Gradient's the word that I like to use. So, I just threw it on top and I went pretty high. Again, I didn't try to keep it contained. So, yeah, and I think those two blended together nicely. And then I took Brick and I used that for my outer corner area. And I also ended up kind of bringing it in onto my eyelid, but not in my crease. I wanted to try to keep that three-toned gradient going. And yeah, so that's what I did. And look, like I said, look at how well that blended together. I took that Brick shade underneath on my bottom lash line too. But I feel like when I layer some brands, especially like Beauty Bay's eyeshadows, they don't layer very well. These layer so nicely. I took that Misbehave and I placed it on the inner corner of my bottom lash line, and then I took that spicy shade and added that on the bottom, and then I took spiked cider and I threw that on top of my lid for some shimmer. I feel myself getting like really glitter and shimmer happy right now. I don't know if it's because Christmas is near or if that's just my mood. I don't know. I took that rum shade and I used it for my outer corner of my eyelid because I wanted, to deepen it up. And then I took chestnut and I threw that on top of, both shimmers that we laid down. Now again, you can skip this shade, like this step, but I will tell you these glitters are just, they're not really glitter. It's so fine. It's so fine. And I took that ornament shade and I threw it on my inner corner, and this is the finished look. I didn't do any lashes or anything. I felt like it was sort of pretty. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know again which one your favorite is. Okay, so now moving on to the next look, I took that brick shade and I put it on the outer corner of my eye and the inner corner of my eye. This is going to be a halo eye. Yeah, I felt like trying to do a different technique or a different look or a different style. Like I try to do different styles, you guys, but I'm just not that creative. I feel like I end up running out of ideas or things to do. But anyways, especially going on like 10 looks I think I've done with this palette in the last 12 days or some craziness. But anyways, I took that brick shade down on my outer lash line and on my inner lash line, and then I took that Rudolph shade and I placed it next to the brick shade because I wanted it to get lighter as you're going in for that more of a halo look. Now I don't feel like I blended everything out very well, and that's my mistake. I should have blended things out and into each other more. I also took Rudolph and I placed it on the center of my bottom lash line. Here I am half-assed attempting to blend things, and I took frosting and I threw it on top of both sides of my eye look, and then of course I had to go back in and layer the brick and Rudolph because as you saw it kind of took it out, and then I took ornaments and I threw that on the center of my eye just like that, and then I took chestnut and I put it on top of it because that ornament shade was really pretty, but I felt like it was too white. Like it was just too much. And I thought the chestnut glitter would kind of level it out some. I took ornaments and put it on the center of my bottom lash line, and I also took chestnut and threw it on top of that, for that look that I was going for. I'm not really sure how I felt about this look, and also my eye was watering. So yeah, I took that snow day and put it on the center of my eye, and this is the finished look. Let me know which one was your favorite. Let me know if you're enjoying this, and yeah, thank you for watching this video to the end. Bye.